Welcome to Sports Talk with King Von. Yesterday, I went 500, so not the best, but not the worst I've ever done. The game I got wrong last night was the Bengals versus the Rams, where the Bengals won 19 to 16. I knew eventually the Bengals would have to win. They were just too good of a team to go to lose forever. But I just couldn't trust Joe Burrow again before I saw him play a game. But speaking of Joe Burrow, he actually played kind of alright last night. Even though he had like 50 passing attempts and only had 250 yards. But he's played better than he's been playing. And he has to think if he actually targets Jamar Chase, he does well. It's a crazy idea. I know, I never thought of that. But I didn't get my bet last night for this game correct because the Bengals held time of possession for most of the game and Stafford did not have enough passing attempts. In the other game, I got the prediction and my bet correct with Eagles money line, Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, Rachaad White under 38.5 yards, and Chase McClellan over half a field goal. I didn't really feel confident with that, but it hit, so let's go. Oh yeah, feeling good. But about the game itself, the Tampa Bay defense played really well. The Tampa Bay offense just could not get the ball moving versus the Eagles defense, which I expected for the most part, but it would have still been cool. I think Tampa Bay could sneak into the AFC South Championship and maybe win a playoff game this year. Okay, the waiver wire. A quarterback I try to pick up would be Jameis Winston. I know most of y'all hate that guy right now for the Saints, but Jameis Winston has always been a good fantasy quarterback. He throws a lot and he gets a lot of touchdowns. So you may not like him as a player or what he's doing for your actual team, but for your fantasy team, he will help you win if Derek Carr is out. I mean, do I really have to say Devon Achane? He just had the most points in fantasy history. I mean, if you have a chance of picking him up, pick him up and stash him. It's pretty simple. Or don't stash him. Tank Dell. He is the Texans' number one receiving option. CJ Stroud loves him. And that offense doesn't look as bad as what we thought it was. I think he's going to have plenty more opportunity. Elijah Moore. I know he may not be a waiver wire, but you should try to pick him up. He had so many touches versus the Titans between the backfield since Nick Chubb is hurt and through the air. This is Deshaun Watson's favorite guy. He is trying to get him the ball however possible. Marvin Mims, the receiver for the Broncos. The Broncos did not have a great day in general, so they can't have much to talk about. But Marvin Mims is one of those few bright spots from the day. He had a pretty good receiving day, and he had a kick return touchdown. I would pick him up and stash him for later in the season when they have a bigger role or a more defined role for him in the other offense. And last one I have is Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants. He was targeted a lot in Thursday night games versus San Francisco, and he had 6 catches total. So he's another player that I would stash in your offense until he has a more defined role in their games. Okay, but let's talk about the Astros. The Astros are pretty much clinched now. After the 5-1 victory over the Mariners last night, This now puts them a game and a half ahead of the Mariners. Unless they have an all-time choke in this next week, I believe the Astros have clinched their playoff spot. In the NL, the D-backs lost last night, so now they are tied with the Cubs at just a game above the Marlins. So the Cubs and the D-backs better be careful because the Marlins are trying. The Marlins are coming for their spot. Old Patriots tight end Aaron Hernandez is dead. Thank you for watching Sports Talk with King Von.